Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with our acting news director today, Tad Stefanak, BNEWS reporters Chris Flaherty and Robert Paris, Peter Brown with the weather, Gretchen Carey with the community calendar, Liz Gillespie with sports, and Gabrielle Papili with the social media minute. Thank you for joining us. There's been some recent news that the town's drinking water has chemical contamination above the new state standards. BNews spoke with DPW Director John Sanchez about Burlington's water.
In the past few weeks, it has been reported that numerous municipalities in Massachusetts, including Burlington, have had drinking water tests come back with levels of polyfluoroalkyl substances, or PFAS, that are above the new state standard of 20 parts per trillion. Burlington came in at 40 parts per trillion. To help clear up any confusion, I caught up with DPW Director John Sanchez to ask him about the situation. He started by stressing that this is not a new contamination of the water supply.
Yeah, that's a very important thing. Nothing has changed in the treatment. Nothing has changed as far as our water. The same water that we're drinking today was the same from a month ago, 2 months ago, last year. The only thing that changed is the regulation. New systems have been developed that you can actually start reading to much lower levels. We're talking parts per trillion here, which have incredibly small.
PFAS are a group of chemicals banned now in the United States for a number of decades that were used in numerous products, including fire extinguishing material, waterproof clothing, Teflon-coated pots and pans, and more. They do not break down and are ubiquitous in the environment.
I mean, they are absolutely everywhere in the system, and they don't disappear. They call them the forever chemicals for a reason. So they've been around with us, and even though they haven't been making those for 30 years, they're still in the environment. They're still in the groundwater, they're still in the surface water.
Sanchez spoke about the implications of having PFAS higher than the state standard.
What does that mean? What DEP says is anybody who is pregnant, nursing, or infant, or somebody with immunodeficiencies in the system shouldn't drink that water. For everybody else, this is a long-term issue. In other words, if you drink this water over your entire lifetime, then you may have a problem, but not something that is immediate or during the short term. It's not the type of emergency that you have to immediately stop drinking water, like when we had a boil water order. It's nothing like that. And this is why we didn't do a reverse 911, because we don't want to, send the wrong message out there. People should educate themselves on what it means to them. If they have any questions about what it means to them particularly, maybe talk to your physician.
Finally, there are plans in the works for dealing with the situation, including adding new filters at the Mill Pond treatment plant, hopefully by the end of next year. The big thing that will help, Sanchez said, is closing the Vine Brook plant and connecting to the MWRA.
So we have the tree for them. So the good news is that we made a decision in the town. In 2018, town meeting decided to abandon the Vine Brook treatment facility and move that source to the MWRA. And that's good news because we are well along that path to get a connection to the MWRA, which will allow us to have water that does not have PFAS. And part of the reasons we used to abandoning that plan was that we didn't know what other chemicals were in the water that in the future they were going to regulate, and it was a good idea just to move away. So the good news is, at least for that plant, we're going to be okay. Our plan is to complete that project by 2023 and use that water from the MWRA.
From outside the Town Hall Annex, I'm BNews Director Rich Hosford.
The graduation ceremony for the BHS class of 2021 looked more traditional this year, with seniors and their families in person at Varsity Field. BNews reporter Chris Flaherty has these highlights.
Sunday, June 6th, faculty and staff of Burlington High School honored the graduating class of 2021 with a traditional in-person ceremony after a year and a half of ups and downs.
It's probably the most important thing we could have given them, because this class missed out on so much of the regular traditional education. Their whole educational world got tipped upside down. So to give them something like this, I think is pretty cool. I'm happy for them.
Speakers of the day urged their classmates to boldly charge ahead into this new chapter of their lives while holding tight to the experiences that came before.
And we, class of 2021, are a pack of protagonists, unique and ambitious individuals, each manifesting immense narratives. I wish us all brightened horizons and boundless exploration the aesthetics of the world, and the profoundness of the people in it. But I ask that you never forget where we came from. We came from here, the town of Friday night lights and Saturday morning NASBA practices, the mortared brick walls, the Chromebooks, lasted numbers, and pep rallies. And that is beautiful. That is irreplaceable.
As members of the class of 2021, this persistence during times of every inconsistency possible has come to be all we know. Up until this day, our lives have been a whirlwind of external forces and change. For the last 15 months, we've kept going, and we've ended up here today. This is by no means a small place in the world, a small moment in time, or a small ripple in our waves of life. This is something to be really proud of. We don't know what forces will hit us next. We don't know what direction they'll send us in, how quickly we'll move with them, or when they'll find us. All that we do know is that we'll stay in motion, just as we always have, and that's all we need to do.
The class of 2021 will be remembered for unwavering strength and perseverance in their final years at BHS.
You know, I think it's hard not to remember this class as being a class that spent a full year in remote education and hybrid education, and they really persevered through the whole thing. Just a group that really did whatever they could to stay engaged and connected with one another and with their school, and really thrived during the pandemic.
We are strong, we are resilient, we are adaptable. I know this sounds generic as anything, but it is absolutely true. A generation of kids defined and confined by what we did not have will undoubtedly grow into an inspired generation of adults who are equipped to handle any curveball that life throws at us. And with that, class of 2021, it's time to start swinging. Thank you.
Congratulations, graduates. Until next time, this is Chris Flaherty for BNEWS Weekly.
In addition to a more conventional commencement ceremony, BHS seniors were able to enjoy their all-night grad party. BNews reporter Robert Paris took the opportunity to join the fun and has this report.
Hey everyone, I'm BNews reporter Robert Paris here at Varsity Field, where the all-night grad party is going well, and a lot of students out here tonight. So we're gonna go around and chat with some of the BHS graduates, and we're gonna see how that's gonna go. So stay tuned. It is time to celebrate. The Burlington High School class of 2021 has graduated. Every year, the PTO puts on an event for the graduates called the All-Night Graduation Party. This year was a little different, as the administration moved the event from Kings Bowl on 3rd Avenue to the BHS Varsity Field due to the pandemic.
They've been working with me the last several weeks, just talking about different things to do. I mean, the rules were kind of constantly changing about what we were going to be able to do, if at all be able to do something. So we had talked about, if possible, indoors, back in the cafeteria at the high school, Kings, if that was an option. I think once we started planning the senior event under the stars out here on Varsity Field, they got the idea to possibly do something similar, because the venue and just being outside really worked well. And then they just moved forward with that planning.
Throughout the evening, Joshua Jerome Taylor went around to see some of the graduates and found out what they will be doing after high school and what they will miss the most.
Harvard University, and I am undecided. My friends, all the good times, and just the people here.
I'm going to University of New Haven, and I'm majoring in criminal justice. The atmosphere of like the people, I don't know, just being a part of like those people for so long. I mean, we're talking about 12 years of our life. That's a long time.
UMass Lowell and finance. Probably the people. I would say the people. Because after this, we're all kind of going to go find our own like friends and that kind of stuff. And I think we'll all stay in touch, but I think the people, I would say, yeah.
Edinburgh University in Pennsylvania, and I'm undecided. Probably just my friends here, especially like my team, my wrestling team. I had the funnest times with them.
I'm going to Assumption University, and my major is bio. I'm going to miss being able to see my friends every day.
I'm going to Assumption University, and I'm thinking about doing sports management. Honestly, the athletics. I loved being a part of a team almost every single season here for my past 4 years, and that's definitely what I'm going to miss most.
I'm going to Xavier University, and my major is entrepreneurship. I think I'm going to miss most like the community that we all have with sports games.
I'm going to Boston University for costume design. I'll just miss like being around everyone. I know I was fully remote this year, so I didn't really see people, but like having all these senior events has been really fun because I've been able to see everyone. So I'll just miss all my friends and just being around people for sure.
One of the grand finales from the evening was the Hypnotist Show with Frank Santos. Santos was also thrilled to do a live show again after months on hiatus.
This past 14 months pretty much has been horrific for all entertainers and businesses out there, and it put a toll, and people have been stuck. So doing outdoor shows, just doing a show it's amazing. People are happy, seeing smiles, seeing the masks off. it feels good. It's a good thing everything's back to normal now, but I'm glad to be back on stage. And these kids are actually great. Their faces are so funny. Everyone's different. There's no two of the same. And my shows are always different and never the same as well. I mean, I could do the same exact routine, 20 shows in a row, and every show be completely different because of that, yeah.
With a school year filled with hybrid and remote learning, BHS wanted to give one last hurrah for the class of 2021.
It's nice to have something for them. Again, the kids are great. I can't wait to see them come rolling in because there's so many nice kids in this class, and to try to give them something they'll be able to remember, and it's just another memory of how their high school ended, and hopefully it's going to be a good one. It should be. The weather's going to be nice. It's starting to cool down here on the turf, so I think we're going to be good.
The biggest thing I'm looking forward to is just seeing the kids here tonight, having a good time, being with each other, again, celebrating the graduating from Burlington High School.
Well, that was a fun time we had here at Varsity Field. And last thing, I want to congratulate all the students here from the class of 2021 here at Burlington High School. I'm Robert Paris from Varsity Field, and we'll see you next time.
In other end of school year news, a group of inspired young ladies created a mural at the main entrance of BHS, welcoming students in a variety of languages. BNews reporter Tad Stefanak has more.
As part of the Burlington High School internship program, the executive board of the Multicultural Humans of BHS Club created a message of diversity and inclusion for generations to come.
This idea of creating a mural similar to like this, we were discussing like things that we want to do to highlight diversity in our school and kind of just acknowledge like students and their different pieces of their identity.
We've done multiple organizations like the Multicultural and Humans of BHS Club and the Equity Committee and Bar Youth. And I think through all these organizations, all of us have grown increasingly passionate for making a more equitable and welcoming community.
The whole point of doing this was to recognize and appreciate the differences and the diversity that exist in our school community.
So there's so much diversity at Burlington High School, so through this mural we wanted to just represent all of the diverse people and like how diverse this community is.
We were just really inspired and just wanted to share our passion for diversity, equity, and inclusion with the rest of the school. So we were really just excited to paint this mural.
And so we had to just reach out to Mr. Rakovich, who's the director of the art department, and he was our host for the internship, and he helped us throughout this entire process. And then we had to ask Mr. Sullivan for approval to create a mural like this, and then we got started. One thing that we wanted to do was like highlighting language.
We hope that those who enter the building can be met with all these different languages. There's, I think, 50 languages on the mural, and we hope that when they come in, parents, faculty, any students, they can see a language that they listen to, that they're familiar with, that they speak at home.
The language, the whole point was just to recognize and appreciate the differences because it's like one of the components that makes up our identity, and our identity should be appreciated.
And I hope that students can celebrate other languages and other cultures and learn to appreciate them.
All of us did a good equal amount of the mural.
We were all really nervous at first because we have zero art experience, like we're not art students here. So it was definitely, nerve-wracking at first, but we worked through it, and Mr. Rakovich was really great and he helped build our confidence.
We took one element, part of the mural, like the globe, the languages, and the hands, like one element per day.
You see the hands are assembling puzzle pieces that essentially make up the entire globe and the entire world.
All really worked hard on it, and I think it looks great, and I'm really happy.
My goal with this was that whoever enters the school is greeted in their own language, that people might be able to feel more welcomed and more as if they belong in the school.
I hope that parents, students, faculty, and anybody just walking by the mural, they feel that they're represented. Even if they just speak English, you can still see welcome on the mural.
So there's so much diversity at Burlington High School, so through this mural we wanted to just represent all of the diverse people and how diverse this community is.
So we just still hope that students feel representation and feel a sense of belonging as they walk through the main doors, especially to the new kids who enter school and they see this mural right away.
From the Burlington High School, I'm BNews reporter Tad Stefanak.
Burlington's 4th of July Parade Committee is taking a different approach to the traditional patriotic procession. This year's event will be a rolling rally featuring and honoring anybody who was made an essential worker a year ago. As a safety measure, all parade participants will be in or on a motorized moving vehicle. There will be no marching bands, but the rolling rally will have some familiar attractions like the Shriners' little cars buzzing by and the Hanscom Civil Air Patrol. The rally is set to include local heroes like People Helping People, Help Us, Burlington Women Aid, members of the Burlington Board of Health, and what committee member Mike Runyon says will be a healthy contingent from Leahy Hospital. First responders vehicles will also be part of the motorcade, along with representation from local businesses. The rolling rally will be held July 4th and will start at the Pine Glen School, travel down Wilmington Road, turn up Cambridge Street, continue on to Wynn Street, and end at Marshall Simons Middle School. The team is still accepting ideas and participants for entries, so feel free to connect them at Burlington's 4th of July Parade Committee Facebook page. Thank you. This Sunday, June 13th, Burlington will be having its first ever Pride celebration on the Burlington Town Common, organized by the Burlington Equity Coalition. The day is set with plenty of activities and free swag, including Pride flags and stickers. There will be an art station, temporary tattoos, and photo booth. The Burlington Library will have a table and do children's story times, and members of the Burlington Players will be on hand to answer questions about the local theater group. The celebration will also feature several musical performances from the gazebo throughout the day, with pop songs, originals, and selections from musical theater. It's all happening on the Burlington Town Common this Sunday, June 13th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and all are welcome to attend. There will be no food served during because of the COVID concerns. However, free water will be available. Information on the event can be found on Burlington's first ever Pride event Facebook event page. And for more, visit the LGBTQ Community Allies of Burlington Facebook page. The fun is that the sun at the Simons Park wading pool is going to be more accessible starting this summer, thanks to a new sidewalk being installed for those with mobility challenges. The Burlington Disability Access Commission continues its partnership with the Burlington Parks and Recreations Department to help make the parks in town accessible by the standards of the Americans with Disabilities Act. With the total cost of the project at just over $42,000, the Disability Access Commission granted $15,000 from its Handicapped Parking Fine Fund, adding to funding from the Simons Trust. If people see a need for disabled access at a town facility or building, you can reach out to the Disability Access Commission at 781-270-1740, email dac@burlington.org, or feel free to attend one of their monthly meetings. Let's check in with BNews meteorologist Peter Brown for your weather forecast, our social media minute with Gabrielle Papili, the community calendar with Gretchen Carey.
Well, hello everyone, this is Peter Brown with your weather for the next 7 days. Here we are heading into the middle of June with the official start of summer coming on June 20th, so that's something to really look forward to. And starting out our period on Friday, our average highs at this time of the year should be in the upper 70s, and we're actually going to be pretty cool, much cooler than that. Actually, we're going to be seeing highs only around 70 on Friday with the cool wind coming in off of the ocean. And if you have to be out and about in the Burlington area on Friday night into early Saturday morning, make sure you have a light coat with you or a light sweater, as temperatures are going to be dipping down into the low 50s. Now, as we round out our period on Thursday, average highs at that time of the year should be in the low 80s, and again, we're probably going to be a few degrees shy of that as we see, again, below average temperatures for much of the next 7 days. And of course, as you notice, the days are just about at the longest that they can be right now. We're actually not going to be seeing the sun rising any earlier than it is now. We're going to be adding a couple of extra minutes to our sunset at night, but we are almost at the peak of daylight hours. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at what the Climate Prediction Center is calling for us here in the Burlington area in terms of temperatures and precipitation for the next 7 days. And again, looking at this, it looks like we're expecting, again, below average temperatures for much of the eastern part of the country. So a big departure from what we've been seeing last week when we saw temperatures way up in the 90s. But of course, as we go ahead and look at our precipitation chances, they're also calling from the Climate Prediction Center for a chance of below average precipitation. We're going to have to see if that actually plays out, as it looks like we're going to have the chance of some instability showers almost every day in the 7-day period. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at those 7 days of weather coming up. And again, starting at our period on Friday, and you can see all the way through the end of the period till next Thursday, we do have a chance of showers each and every day. Not going to be a steady rain, but just bear in mind that we do have the chance, again, with a very cold air mass above us, we are going to see those instability clouds popping up each afternoon with a chance of some light rain. And again, Friday temperatures only around 70, so pretty cool out there if you're stepping out to start out the weekend. It looks like our temperatures will go into a steady rise as we head towards the beginning of next week with temperatures up in the mid to upper 70s, so very pleasant out there. Nice dry conditions. The humidity's definitely going to be gone, so that's going to be a really nice feel as you step out there. And again, rounding out our period by Thursday, we're going to be seeing our temperatures up in the mid to upper 70s again with those chances of some spotty rain showers. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
Hey friends, I'm Gabrielle, also known as Miss Burlington MA. I'm here to share with you my posts and pictures from my own social media account and showcase the amazing businesses and things to do in and around Burlington.
Blackbird Cafe is a spot where I'm not sure if I love the owners or the food more. Their menu is incredibly expansive and offers just about every breakfast and lunch item you can imagine. Owners Katie and Luke have a true passion for what they do, and it is extremely evident in the quality and flavors in their food. I am all about breakfast foods and absolutely love their Rancheros breakfast sandwich, paired with their Blackbird baked home fries. So good.
Hey everyone, I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your community calendar. Learn how to create an app. On Wednesday, June 16th, the Burlington Parks and Recreation Department is having an event called App Inventors. Grades 4 through 7 are welcome. Pre-registration is required. To register, go to burlingtonrecreation.org. Have you seen Jurassic Park? On Thursday, June 17th at 6:30 p.m., the Burlington Public Library is having an event called Jurassic Park Trivia and Craft over Zoom. Grades 3 through 8 only. Pre-registration is required, and to register, go to burlington.org. Discover what happened billions of years before our time. Also on Thursday, June 17th, at 7 p.m., the library is having a Zoom event called The 4 Billion Year Story of Burlington. Everyone is welcome, and advanced registration is required. For more information, go to burlington.org. I'm Gretchen Carey, and that was your community calendar.
The seniors have graduated, but they're still on the field with their Red Devil squads. Let's go to your BNEWS Sports Report with Robert Paris and Liz Gillespie.
Hey everyone, I'm Liz Gillespie, and this is your weekly sports report. Burlington High Spring Sports finished their season and finally began the playoff tournament. Girls tennis finished the year with 9 wins and 1 loss. They'll face the Belmont Marauders on Friday, June 11th at Rahanis. As of this taping, the game is still ongoing. Boys tennis also faced Watertown twice during the week. They finished both meets with 5-0 wins over the Red Raiders. The Red Devils finished the year with 8 wins and 2 losses. They then had a playoff match against Belmont on Thursday, June 10th, where they lost 5-0. They'll face the Watertown Red Raiders in a consolation match on Saturday, June 12th. Both outdoor track teams hosted the Middlesex League 12 meet on Thursday, June 10th at Varsity Field. Teams that participated in the meet were Reading, Lexington, Wilmington, Wakefield, Woburn, Belmont, Winchester, Arlington, Melrose, and Stoneham. The Burlington girls team finished 5th with 75 points, while the boys were in 3rd place with 107 points. Girls lacrosse headed to Watertown to see the Red Raiders on Saturday, June 5th for their final regular season game of the year. Burlington showed no mercy as they scored 18 goals, while the Red Raiders had 7. The Red Devils finished the year undefeated at 10-0 and are the Middlesex League Freedom Division champions. They then hosted the Woburn Tanners in the playoffs on Thursday, June 10th. Let's see how they did.
Burlington girls lacrosse had a home meet against the Woburn Tanners in the Middlesex League playoff tournament. In the first period, it was all Tanners, as they scored 5 goals. While the Red Devils had 1. Second, Burlington bounced back with an additional 6 goals. Woburn had 3. 8-7 was the score at halftime. Tanners. Both teams continued to show momentum in the third, as Woburn had another 4 goals. And Burlington had 3. This will be the last time the Red Devils scored in the game, as the Tanners' defense overpowered them in the fourth. Woburn had one additional goal in the fourth. Final score was 13-10 Woburn. We had a chance to talk with Coach Trahan after the match.
Woburn's always a tough team, and luckily this season we have film on them, so we really broke it down, tried to look at where their weaknesses were and to try to come out on top with that. They came out hard today. We were down 4-1, and then we had to adjust, and we clearly did. The second half, I think we won that. We won the second half. The outcome wasn't ours at the end, but we chipped away, and it was back and forth the entire time. So I'm really proud of my girls for that.
Burlington will face Watertown in a consolation game on June 12th. Boys lacrosse headed to Watertown on Saturday, June 5th. They beat the Red Raiders 1-0. Burlington finished the season at 7-2. They then hosted Winchester in the first round of the ML12 tourney on Thursday, June 10th at MSMS Brush Field, where they lost by a close score of 8-6. They will face the Lexington Minutemen in a consolation game on June 12th. Red Devil baseball traveled to Watertown to take on the Red Raiders on Saturday, June 5th. Burlington had a very close match, but in the end, they finished the game with a 5-4 victory. The team finished the regular season 3-7 and headed to Arlington in the first round of the ML tourney on Thursday, June 10th. The team only scored 6 runs while the Spy Ponders had 10. The final score was 10-6 with Arlington taking the win. Burlington will face Stoneham on June 12th in a consolation game. Girls softball had a home playoff game against Winchester on June 10th at Marvin Field with a very tight game. The Red Devils finished the game with a 3-2 final victory. They'll face the Arlington Spy Ponders in the semifinal round of the Middlesex League tourney on June 12th. Boys wrestling headed to Wilmington on Tuesday, June 8th to take on the Wildcats. The Red Devils beat Wilmington with a score of 53-15. Pins in the meet were made by Joe Perna, Adam Eldeeb, and Jaden Alford. The team moves to 7-2 on the season and will go to Watertown for their final regular season meet of the year on Friday, June 11th. As of this taping, the game is still to be played. Burlington Swimming will have a meet on June 12th against the Belmont Marauders at the North Suburban YMCA in Woburn. For more Red Devil action, go to the BNEWS Sports section at bcattv.org and check out our Twitter page at BNEWS Sports. And that's all for your weekly sports report. I'm Liz Gillespie. Back to you guys in the studio.
Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photo was taken coming down the Bunny Trail. It was sent in by Burlington resident Kelly Floyd, who took this picture at Reagan Park. Rabbits are common in Burlington throughout spring and summer, and this year it seems they're almost everywhere you go, including in your flower beds. As we sign off this week, all of us here at BCAT would like to congratulate our BNews sports reporter Liz Gillespie on graduating with BHS class of 2021 with honors. Liz has been part of the BCAT community since her middle school days with BCAT's after-school Video Voyager program. Liz is off to the University of California, majoring in biomedical engineering in the fall. While you'll still be seeing Liz around BCAT, we wanted to take this opportunity to congratulate and to thank her for her years of volunteering and being a part of the BCAT community. Okay, that's it from the news desk here at BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with Tad Stefanak, Robert Vias, Robert Paris, Chris Flaherty, Gretchen Carey, Gabrielle Papili, and Liz Gillespie, and Peter Brown with the weather. Thank you for joining us.